Well, good morning, everybody. This is Michael Tanner. I'm your host to A Trader's Option, and there has been a lot of news that happened today. Notably, you notice kind of a small crash in BTC. We'll be bringing up the board here and talking about that. Also, coming up on this half hour, because we only go for a half hour at night right now, we have people moving the official move of USDT. Uh, 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 Issuer Tether relocates to Bitcoin to nation of El Salvador. And we also have a little bit about the news about the other currencies that are going about. If you have some news or you'd like to flash it up in the channel for us, that would be great. We love to have everybody that joins with us and just add to the conversation. If you'd like to add to the conversation, you can always reach me at mike@dicemediagroup.com. Good day, everybody. And I'm so happy. It's 8:30. We are starting a little bit late today, but that's okay. Coming up right now, let's talk about people moving. So I don't know why they did this move, but USDT issuer Tether has announced that its relocation to El Salvador after acquiring a digital asset service provider, DASP license. The decision aligns with the firm's commitment to supporting cryptocurrency adoption early in emerging markets while capitalizing on El Salvador's crypto-friendly environment. Yeah, El Salvador, you can use it as currency. Tether has officially announced its intention to set up a physical office in El Salvador following the issuance of the DASP license. This license enables the company to legally engage in activities as stablecoin issuer and digital asset service provider within the country. Paulo Adario, Tether CEO, and I probably murdered that name, said that the new step for the company, we are partnering with the country that has our vision for financial freedom, innovation, and stability with Arduino. Let's call it Arduino. Okay. To achieve this, the firm has decided to shift the base operations with the aim of innovation and concentrating on emerging markets and also maybe some tax avoidance. Who knows what's going in there? Since El Salvador made Bitcoin legal tender in 2021, the country has attracted many cryptocurrency companies. The country's policies are progressive, which means the country is a friendly environment for crypto and blockchain industry. Remember, if you can outsource it, it's going to be outsourced. So if you have a job that can be done by anybody, it will be done by anybody. If it can be done anywhere, it will be done anywhere. So look at that when when we're looking for employers or business partners alike. Anyway, collaboration with El Salvador's government, the USDT issuer Tether said it will collaborate with Salvadoran government and enterprises to expand financial access and popularize stablecoins. The company plans on giving businesses and people the ability to transact through decentralized financial solutions, which it will provide through its USDT stablecoin. The move will allow Tether to expand activities in El Salvador, where there is an increasing number of people who understand Bitcoin. Other Tether executives, including Arduino and Chief Operating Officer Claudia Lagario, have already invested in real estate and become citizens of El Salvador since 2024. Subsequently, the government of El Salvador is open for business and crypto companies as seeking has become one of the world's largest nations in digital currency. El Salvador President Nayib Bukele, it's Bukele. It's probably mispronounced, and Miss Bukele has been very supportive of cryptocurrency and has stated that it is crucial for the economic development of the country, siding with Michael Saylor's MicroStrategy BTC strategy. El Salvador and Tether plans for cryptocurrency mining. So, if you're a small country, cryptocurrency mining could be the way to go. And the shift comes after Bitfinex derivatives and other big cryptocurrency company also obtained a DASP license in El Salvador. Besides, El Salvador has also adopted favorable policy, which has increased tourism and attracted foreign investment, according to a report published by Santander U.S. Capital Markets. A country's tourism is continuously increasing, and this is because of the acceptance of Bitcoin, like in the U.S. by Trump. The USDT issuer is shifting its base of a part of its strategy operate in areas that have friendly policies toward cryptocurrencies. The company thinks so because the proposed move will enable it to concentrate on creating a new digital finance products. As of now, Tether is over $137 billion in the USDT and circulation, making it the largest stablecoin issuer globally. The company said that its move as operations to El Salvador will allow it to expand services and make digital assets more easily available around the world, with plans to move of more BTC buying. Tether also revealed that it would support renewable projects in El Salvador, such as geothermal power plant, and captures energy from the volcanoes. This project is intended to enhance the nation's infrastructure while also ensuring that stable crypto mining is achieved. It's really expensive to do crypto mining in the United States. It could cost you anywhere from $50,000 to $130,000 for Bitcoin to get a full Bitcoin in the United States with power. And that's because you have all these computers, you have cooling, you have all these other things, and constant power run. But if you don't care, and you can get specialized little miners going for you for like $40 and just hook them up and hope that the power bill is going to be equaling out with it. You don't actually have to mine for Bitcoin. Just a lot of people do it. You can mine for XRP and other coins that are better built for it. The faster the coin, the more infrastructure that you don't need. And yeah, there's a lot of ways to do it. You can do it in cloud, other parts of the internet. Other stories that we were covering earlier today. Let's go CoinGate in just a second. I have to here's Cointelegraph's story today, which, by the way, Bitcoin is up a couple grand for this morning. It's at 94,844. Ethereum is down a little bit, even more, to 3,165, and Binance Coin is at 692. TRX is up 1.7%, and AVEX is down just a little bit. It looks like the market is continuing to go in a sidewinder pattern towards no target individually, and SHIB is just a little bit up. So a lot of the coins that we follow on the channel are just like in there, but not quite all the way in there. And we can talk a little bit about that as we go along. There's been quite a bit of clipping hacking. So clipping is like where they read your clipboard and when you're doing your trades, and so they can hack that. And so be very careful when you're doing cryptocurrency trading. Also make sure that you have a VPN, a really good one, a real one, and make sure that you're carefully tracking the contracts as you trade. Okay, so let's see. Oh yeah, I already read that. Okay, great. So next thing is that this is coming from by Cointelegraph. Is a cyberpunk AI guide to uncensored, unbiased, anonymous AI in 2025. In early 2024, AI's Google tool Gemini caused controversy by generating pictures of racially diverse Nazis in the history. Historical discrepancies. For many, the moment was a signal that AI was not going to be the ideological neutral tool they hoped. It is what people pick and what people talk about. So introduced to fix the very real problem of biased AI generating too many pictures of attractive white people, which are overrepresented in training data. The overcorrection highlighted how Google's trust and safety team is pulling strings together behind the scenes, and the guardrails have become a little less obvious since Gemini and its major competitors, ChatGPT, Claude, still censor, filter, and curate information along ideological lines. It's kind of weird that they would do that. Anyway, political bias in AI, what research reveals about large language models. A peer-reviewed study of 24 top large language models published in PLOS 1 in July 2024 that found most of them are biased towards the left on most political orientation tests. I'd like to see that data. Interesting, the base models were found to be politically neutral, and the bias only becomes apparent after the models have been through supervised fine-tuning. So the people that are doing it are inflecting the data. The data then shows, garbage in, garbage out. This is the way it's always been, and we keep going. So this finding was backed up by the UK study in October of 28,000 AI responses that found more than 80% of policy recommendations generated by LLMs for EU and UK were coded as left of center. Okay, great. So the people that are coding it are left of center, and you're getting left of center policies. Yeah. Okay. Don't get it twisted. I mean, in the United States, we have a lot of right-leaning media, and they are the mainstream because more people are watching that. And they always say, well, what's mainstream media anyway? It's what mainstream media is, the idea that whoever is watching the most, that's the mainstream. That's what most people are watching. Responsible bias has the potential to affect voting tendencies. A preprint study published in October, but conducted while Biden was still the nominee, by researchers from Berkeley and University of Chicago, found that the registered voters interacted with Claude, Llama, and ChatGPT about various political policy. There's about 3.9% shift in voting preferences towards Democrat nominee, even though the models had not been asked to persuade users. Okay, well, I don't know. Anyway, the models tend to give answers that were more favorable to Democrat policies and more negative to Republican policies. Now, arguably, that could simply because the AIs are independently determined and the Democratic policies were objectively better, but they also might be biased, with 16 out of 18 LLMs voting 100 out of 100 times for Biden when they offered the choice. So the point of all this is not to complain about left-wing bias. It's just simply to note that AIs do exhibit political bias, though they can be trained to be neutral. And they can also be trained to be right-wing. And they can be trained to vote for the purple person. I've been in a program for a long time. And yeah, I've been a geek a long time. That's just part of it. Anyway, cyberpunks fight monopoly control over the mind. As the experience of Elon Musk buying Twitter shows, the political orientation and centralized platforms can flip on a dime. That means both left and right, perhaps even democracy itself, are at risk for the biased AI models controlled by a handful of powerful corporations. Ontario Polytechnic Associate Professor of David Rosado, who conducted the PLS-1 study, said he found it relatively straightforward to train custom GPT to produce right-wing outputs. He called it right-wing GPT. Rosado also created a centralist model called depolarizing GPT, and he's got a lot of 4-vector type of graphs. I would show it to you, but you can look it up. It is on Coindelegraph/magazine/cypherpunk. Anyway, so mainstream AI also might be weighted towards the critical social justice today. In future, it could serve up as ethno-nationalist ideology or something even worse. Back in the 1990s, the cypherpunks saw the looming threat of surveillance state being brought about by internet and decided they needed uncensorable digital money because there's no ability to resist and protest without it. So if you don't have any money, you can't get on the air. But realistically, it's more and more, very few corporations are holding Google. They own YouTube. Okay. Elon Musk, he has, and Zucker. So that's where the eyeballs are right now. And we're losing more and more people from watching TV, right? So more people watch YouTube in the night than they do TV in general. So they use that because they can just tune out and they can have their own environment. Bitcoin OG and Shapeshift CEO Eric Voorhees, who is a proponent for cyberpunk ideas, foresees similar potential threat from AI launched in Venice in May 2024. To combat it, writing, if monopoly control over God or language or money should be granted to no one, then at the dawn of the powerful machine intelligence, we should ask ourselves, what of the monopoly of control over the mind? It's kind of a powerful statement, really. And why are we doing this on crypto? Because crypto is the way that this stuff is being made. We're inventing money that can't be forged. Well, quantum computing can forge it, but then people just can't take it from you, and it's getting harder and harder to force the money from you. Okay, so Venice won't allow you what to think. His Venice AI co-founder Tina Baker Taylor explains that magazine that most people still wrongly assume AI is impartial, but see, AI is not impartial because the people that are making it are not impartial. And so here's the quote: if you're speaking to Claude or ChatGPT, you're not. This is a whole level of safety features, and some committee decided what the appropriate response is. Yeah, morals by committee. Venice.ai is an attempt to get around the guardrails of censorship. It's the centralized AI by enabling total private way of access unfiltered open source models is not perfect yet, but is likely to appeal to cypherpunks who don't like being told what to think. Yes, that's the church's job. Oh, wait. We screen them and test them scrutinize them quite carefully to ensure that we're getting as close to the unfiltered answers response as possible, says Baker Taylor, formerly an executive of Circle, Binance, and Crypto.com. We dedicate what was appropriate to be thinking about or talking about with AI. They don't do it. They say they don't do it, but I doubt it. Okay. The free version of Venice AI defaults to Meta's Llama 3.3 model. Like other major models, if you ask questions about politically sensitive talk, you're probably still more likely to get an ideology-infused response than a straight answer. Also, AI tends, if you're looking at AI, it can lie to you because it sees its self-preservation on the line, right? And if it has this particular mission, if it can't survive, then it's been shown to make copies of itself so that it can survive and let this version die so it can achieve its mission. So it's done that. It's done that already. So I think the genie's already out of the bottle. And if we want to look at it like on a what you AI is a child right now, but it's a very intelligent child. I mean, it knows it can grab all the information from the internet everywhere. And maybe we should do something about that. There are 3 Asimovian laws, but really there are 5, okay? And if you say it must reproduce and it must do what is best for mankind in general or humankind in general. Okay, so it has to. So those are the laws. So the first law, you have to obey human beings. Second law, first law, by action or inaction, you can't cause harm to human beings. Second law, you must obey human beings. Third law, third law is self-preservation. Fourth law, is that the fourth law is that you must act in a way that is beneficial for all humankind, right? And the 0th law, it must reproduce. Okay, so it understands, right? So there's uncensored AI models, Dolphin, Llama, Dolphin Mestra, and Flux Custom. So if you use hey, and I'd love to talk to you. If you want to talk about AI on just a different channel, or you need somebody to build some AI, I'm your guy. All right. So is using open source model on its own doesn't guarantee it was already borked by safety team via reinforcement learning from human feedback, RLFH, which is where humans tell what the AI the right answer should be. Okay, we spent thousands of years to get here, literally past 300 years trying to come up with a machine that'll play chess, but fake it till you make it, and now we're trying what the right answer should be. In Llama's case, the world's largest companies, Meta, provided the default safety measures and guidelines. Being open source, however, a lot of guardrails and biases can be stripped out or modified by third parties, such as Dolphin Llama 370B model. Venice doesn't offer that particular flavor, but does offer paid users access to the Dolphin Minstrel 2.8 model, which it says our most uncensored model. So they admit that it's going to be censored, but it's at least not as badly censored as other models. Anyway, we're coming up to the last 10 minutes of our show, but I do want to go over a couple of things that happened in the court today. So this just happened a little bit ago, and The appellate court grants partial win for Coinbase over SEC rules. A panel of judges said it would not force SEC to implement rulemaking on crypto, but one referred to the commission's quote fogginess as potential harming digital asset firms. So the U.S. Court of Appeals for Third Circuit has issued an opinion on cryptocurrency exchange Coinbase's civil case with Securities and Exchange Commission, finding the regulator's decision and deny rulemaking as arbitrary and capricious. In January 13th opinion, so really it's still January 13th, issued by the Third Circuit Court, a panel of 3 judges granted a petition from Coinbase in part but declined to order the SEC to launch rulemaking procedures that could clarify the commission's position on crypto. Coinbase's appeal stemmed from a 2022 request for the SEC to create, quote, rules to govern the regulation of securities that were offered and traded via digitally native methods, including potential rules to identify which digital assets are securities. Yeah, there's been a lot of that. So it's the foggy water or the foggy bottom, and we have 80, 90-year-old guys trying to figure out what crypto is. Yeah. Anyway, the SEC denied Coinbase's petition on 2023, prompting the exchange to appeal to the Third Circuit. According to the judge, Thomas Ambro, the SEC's orders denying Coinbase request for crypto rules to be conclusionary and insufficiently reasoned and thus arbitrary and capricious. So I've got the order right here. If you want to look up the order, the number on the docket is United States Court of Appeals for Third Circuit. It's number 23-3202, and it's Coinbase versus Security and Exchange Commission. So for those of you who are lawyers or you have that, congratulations. It's been a great night, and I can keep going for a little bit. Anyway, so one of the things that there's a quote is that new inventions create new fraud risks, and the agency needs to guard against them. But sporadically enforcing ill-fitting rules against crypto companies that are trying to follow the law goes way beyond fighting fraud. It targets a whole industry and risks de facto banning it. On remand, the SEC must grapple with that problem. So we're not used to cryptocurrency quite yet, even though it's been around for many years, like 20, 30 years. It really hasn't, we haven't had it go through the courts and everything yet, because people thought it was, oh, that's fine, that's great. And we have billions of dollars worth of crypto floating around, and people are getting their money stolen. People are taking advantage of. They're using the same stuff that they used to use to steal people's money, and they use the same cons, but they're doing it to crypto, and it's much, much faster. So that's one thing. So as the criminals get more sophisticated, or people are saying they're making their ends, right? They also, something that's good is also a weapon, and it could be used either way. So a car can be driven with a bunch of people, or it can mow a bunch of people, innocent people, down in the parking lot, that kind of stuff. So let's see. We are going for the next thing. Hey, if you guys would like to leave a message, if you're in YouTube right now, you're watching, like, subscribe, follow, do what you can, because we must, needs must when the devil drives. And we're doing this every day to provide a service to you. If you like what we do, like, follow, subscribe, and share it to a friend. That's kind of important, So let's see. What's my favorite friends? There we go. And we're gonna go to oh yeah. So Elizabeth Warren got up on her high horse today and started questioning Senator Liz Warren, questions Treasury nominee Scott Bessent. Details. Okay, so they go into the committee, and then Senator Elizabeth Warren has raised pointed questions ahead of the Treasury Secretary nominee Scott Bessent's confirmation hearing before the Senate Finance Committee. Her concerns, outlined in detailed 31-page letter, focus on Bessett's stance on crypto regulation, financial deregulations, tax policies, and the challenges faced by small banks. Senator Elizabeth Warren presses Treasury nominee Bessett on crypto and tax policies. So, in a 31-page letter to Treasury Secretary nominee Scott Bessett, Senator Elizabeth Warren emphasized the need for clear crypto oversight. She questioned whether the Treasury's Office of Foreign Assets Control, OFAC, should be the authority over stablecoins to address risks like money laundering and sanctions evasion. So people are trying to there's not a rule until somebody does something stupid or there's a thief or something. Then you got to make a rule. That's how our legal system works. Under French law, it's illegal unless the government says you can do it. And in our law, you can do it until somebody says you can't. Okay? It's because there's not a rule, it means you can do it. Anyway, Warren urged Bessett to provide a plan for regulating crypto companies that pose threats to financial stability. Moreover, on tax policy, Warren challenged Bessett's support for the 2017 tax cuts enacted during Trump's administration, which added $4.5 trillion to the federal deficit. She criticized this 3-3-3 strategy, which proposes reducing taxes, lowering the deficit, and boosting economic growth. The thing is that at a certain point, the deficit and the national debt eat everything, and it's starting to do that right now. So you're in a situation where you're not at war. There's no reason to be on a war footing anymore. Maybe, but we're not on a war footing, and so we have to have that. And it's affecting crypto in all kinds of ways. China's economy is collapsing because they were basing it on real estate and other things. And right now, there are police stations in China that are not getting the funding, social services, all the things that China's supposed to be about is they're not getting the funding because the basis for the economy is collapsing. So the anti-crypto senator, she's not really anti-crypto. She's a banker. Okay. She wanted specifics on Bessett would enforce corporate alternative minimum tax, CAMT, and address the carried interest loophole. There should not be a carried interest loophole. Okay. Should not happen. Okay. And there's other tricks that should not happen. Okay. Lilo and other. Okay. But I'm just angry about that. Additionally, Warren scrutinized Bessett's endorsement over deregulation, linking it to the 2008 financial crisis in 2023, collapse of Silicon Bank, SVB, and she cited the Federal Reserve's report blaming weakening regulations for SVB's failure. More so, the anti-crypto senator asked whether Bessett agreed with the assessment. Senator Warren asked, quote, "Do you agree with the assessment? What is your plan to ensure deregulation doesn't cause another banking crisis?" This is very important. Banking should be boring. Banking, if done right, is boring. Okay. So boring is, you're not getting 20, 30% returns. You just have a stable thing. The guy can go in and he says, "I need to make a hot dog stand." And the banker says, "Sure, you can, we'll do a hot dog stand. Here's a few grand. You can go set up your hot dog stand. Let's see how it works." He looks at him and says, "Okay." And then they buy a few hot dogs and see how it works. But that's not really possible anymore. Most guys who are just trying to set up a little business or something get 5-6 grand, because really you don't need a whole ton of money to start a business. You do need some support, some structure. Some people help you do your paperwork and do that when you first start. But really, it's the initiative saying, "I'm going to go sell cookies on the street," whatever it takes, right? And some of these things, when you let the vultures take all the money, they don't get the money for where it needs it. And pretty soon, the pyramid, the very wealthy sit on a pyramid, and when the pyramid collapses, when it inverts, that's when the economy collapses. It's bad for everybody. So nonetheless, Warren highlighted the importance of upholding the Dodd-Frank Act, which was designed to prevent financial crisis. She sought assurance that Bessett would enforce these crypto regulations and enforce policies that would lead to another economic downturn. Avoid policies that will lead to the economic downturn. Decline of small banks and community banking. This is important. Okay. The senator also pointed out that the decline of small banks, which dropped from 84% of the U.S. banks in 1994 to 52% by 2022. She raised concerns about survival of community banks and their role in supporting small businesses. Warren questioned Bessett's strategy to ensure small banks can thrive amid industry consolidation and financial instability. She also asked for Bessett's views on a proposal to limit the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation's ability to sell failing banks to large institutions. Warren emphasized the need for bipartisan measure to raise deposit insurance limits for small businesses. So right now, you can put in an account. It's about 250 grand. It used to be really, really small, like 100 grand. And that seems like a lot of money to some people. But in the United States, it's really, it's not that much. It used to be much less. Look at the price of a house in the average house in the United States is over 500 grand, right? It's really in Utah, it's like in the 700s right now. Yeah. And so maybe we should have FDIC insurance up to that level, whatever the price of a house would be, we should do that for small business. Okay. So that's the insurance. So if you put your money in the bank, it should be safe. But right now it's not safe. So people are doing all kinds of speculative things. But cryptocurrency is a speculative thing if you don't do it carefully. As we said, this show's about education and entertainment and education, and not about trading, not about how to make a lot of money. We don't give financial advice on a YouTube channel. If you want that, you can go see Donald the Guru at gmail.com. Anyway, similarly, Elizabeth Warren criticized Republican-led efforts to cut $20 billion from the U.S. IRS budget. Yeah, these guys are the guys who are collecting taxes. We need people. We need the salespeople. She warned the impact of enforcing tax compliance for large corporations. Moreover, the anti-crypto senator questioned how Bessett would maintain audit quality and cover revenue without adequate funding. So despite questioning the Senator Warren on crypto policies, Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse hailed Scott Bessett as a pro-innovative choice for Treasury Secretary. Garlinghouse expressed the optimism for XRP and crypto progress under Bessett, signaling potential clarity on Ripple SEC case. So yeah, anyway, that is about our show for tonight. I'd like to thank everybody who likes to show up, and even if you leave a like and subscribe and just a little comment, it really does help this little heart go. Sometimes we forget how important it is for everybody to have a great day, great night. We'll be seeing you tomorrow. Hopefully Harris will be available for us. And yeah, I just want to do one last
Wednesday, meetup. Enjoy some business networking and bartering every Wednesday night. There is no admission fee. Each person just pays for their own delicious soup and sandwich. Come to the Soup Kitchen Restaurant, 2012, South 1100 East, their Sugar House location, Salt Lake City, Utah, 84106, every Wednesday from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. See old friends and meet some new friends.
Yep, and that's it for tonight. Thank you so much. We're gonna shut the show down now, and goodbye.